Double ought. An easy way to tick me off is to interchange the letter O for the number 0. Zeros are not letters and O's are not numbers. I encounter this abomination most frequently when asking for someone's address. Offenders manage to rattle off street number and name, city, and state without butchering the alphanumeric divide, and then spout their postal code, aka zip code, without regard to the sanctity of the 0. For instance, saying 20905 instead of 20905. Oh, really? I blame Ian Fleming and his 00 agents for this abomination. I'm highly confident that James Bond's 00 license to kill designation should be 00 or ought. I can just hear Dame Dench as Overlord M calling James Bond by his propers, either 007 or 007. We could create an entire story around defeating the evil Dr. who has kidnapped the great and good Dr. 00, and how the maniacal mangler masquerades in Dr. 00's place. 00, 00, or 00. In Bond parlance, the double designation is shorthand for a license to kill, something that happens far too often and freely in the United States. After automobile collisions, two of the biggest weapons of mass destruction in the USA are firearms and elective abortion. There are many who favor unrestricted access to one, but want the other highly regulated, if not outlawed, outright. I find this diametric opposition of one and gung-ho support for the other fascinating, especially because of the fervor with which supporters of their right to kill shout. In order to be civilized, we must recognize that the fundamental fabric that comes first and foremost is that no right precedes the right to life. If we are denied the right to life, then literally nothing else follows. That didactic, simplistic, inarguable truth can lead us down a lot of very arguable paths. Support or opposition for anything does not have to be binary. Life is not a yay or nay roll call, an in or out, yes or no manifesto. Most opinions fall on a continuum, with one side being strongly in favor and its polar opposite being strongly opposed. We've all seen the Likert scale graphic that takes us from strongly disagree to strongly agree with various steps along the way. This graphic is a good representation of how humans tend to feel about most things. If I declare that firearms access should be restricted or elective abortion should be restricted, people would fall along the Likert scale of agreement versus disagreement. To state both postulates, firearms access should be restricted and laws should restrict of elective abortion, would use both X and Y axes. Limiting firearms access is a common theme among progressives, while restricting elective abortion tends to be a darling of conservatives. Our firearms access should be restricted statement would be our X axis, and elective abortion should be restricted would be our Y axis. If we designate the high positive numbers on the XY graph as strongly agreeing with the postulates, then the letter Y on the chart would be where people who strongly agree that elective abortion needs to be restricted would fall, and the letter X in the chart where people who strongly believe that firearms restrictions are appropriate would cluster. If conservatives love guns and hate abortions, then they would mark their chart way over on the left of the horizontal X line and very high on the vertical Y line. If the common lore about liberals favoring gun restrictions but opposing restrictions on elective abortion is correct, then their position on the X and Y axes would be opposite, with clusters at the bottom of the Y and to the far right of the X. Please note that all of the above postulates were if-then statements. Big, broad brushstrokes are a great way to cover up important nuances, and I realize I'm using an industrial roller to paint a picture of my perplexity. The right to life precedes all other rights, and unrestricted, unregulated access to guns is a surefire way to kill a lot of people. If I place my mark on the X-axis on firearms restrictions, I'd be to the far right of the chart, way, way over in restricting guns, but not so far in favor of the statement firearms access should be restricted that I'd call for an absolute ban on gun ownership by civilians. Likewise, as the right to life does precede all other rights, and unrestricted access to elective abortion throughout gestation absolutely kills human beings, I would be more than midpoint in the restricting elective abortion camp. Again, not an abortion banner, just a right to life advocate who recognizes that late abortions absolutely kill innocent children. What constitutes late term? That is an excellent, vital question. And you just asked it in sincere concern, then I stipulate that you too are above the zero line on my y-axis.